They didn't stop loving each other. That was never the problem. The problem was everything else. They met at a time when life felt uncertain. Neither of them was looking for love. They were just looking for something that felt real. And somehow, they found it in each other. Love didn't arrive loudly. It didn't demand attention. It showed up quietly, in long conversations that stretched into the night, in comfortable silences that didn't need to be filled, in the feeling of being understood without having to explain. Being together felt easy. Natural. Like something that had always been there, just waiting to be noticed. But as time passed, reality slowly crept in. Dreams started pulling them in different directions. Goals didn't align the way they once did. Responsibilities grew heavier. And little by little, they began to realize something painful. Love wasn't enough to fix everything. They tried, though. They held on longer than they should have. Ignored the signs they didn't want to see. Told themselves that love would find a way. Because letting go felt like failure. But love doesn't fail. People just grow. The conversations changed. They became quieter. More careful. Less hopeful. They started choosing their words, afraid that honesty might break something fragile. And in that silence, the truth waited. They knew what was coming before either of them said it out loud. The hardest part wasn't the goodbye. It was admitting that the future they imagined together was no longer possible. When the moment finally arrived, there was no anger. No shouting. No blame. Just two people sitting with the weight of reality between them. They talked slowly. Carefully. About dreams. About fear. About love. About how much they still cared, and how much it hurt to admit that care wasn't enough anymore. Letting go wasn't something they wanted. It was something they understood. They chose honesty over comfort. Growth over familiarity. Respect over attachment. And with shaking voices, they let each other go. The days after were quiet. Too quiet. Life felt unfamiliar, like a room rearranged in the dark. Everything was still there, just not where it used to be. They learned how to exist without each other. How to wake up without good morning messages. How to fall asleep without knowing someone was waiting. How to carry love without holding onto the person. Some days were harder than others. Memories surfaced without warning. A song. A place. A familiar laugh in a stranger's voice. And for a moment, the past felt close enough to touch. But time has a way of softening sharp edges. The pain didn't disappear, it transformed. Into understanding. Into gratitude. Into acceptance. They realized something important later on. Letting go wasn't weakness. It was courage. It was choosing truth over illusion. Peace over prolonging pain. It was honoring the love they shared by refusing to let it turn into resentment. Not every love story is meant to last forever. Some are meant to teach us how deeply we're capable of feeling. How to love without possession. How to let go without bitterness. They didn't regret loving each other. They never would. Because even though the ending hurt, the love was real. And real love always leaves something behind. It leaves growth. Wisdom. A deeper understanding of yourself. They let each other go. Not because the love was gone, but because sometimes, loving someone means knowing when to release them. And in that choice, they found peace. Sometimes, love doesn't end with distance. It ends quietly, inside the heart. They didn't wonder if the love was real anymore. They knew it was. What they questioned was timing. And how much timing can change everything. Looking back, they realized something painful but honest. If they had held on longer, they would have lost themselves. And love should never ask that of you. They learned that choosing yourself doesn't mean the love was weak. It means you were strong enough to stop fighting reality. Some love stories don't end with forever. They end with clarity. They teach you what you need. Then they let you grow. And years later, when they thought of each other, there was no sadness. Just respect. Respect for the version of themselves that loved deeply, and for the courage it took to walk away when staying would have caused more pain. Because sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is let go, even when the love is still there. To the bathroom. Back to my room. The wall was always blank, pale paint, nothing special. Until one night, when I was completely alone. The house felt different that evening. Not haunted. Not cold. Just attentive. Like it was waiting for something. I turned the corner and froze. There was a door where there had never been one before. Plain wood. No handle. No hinges visible. Just a door. I stared at it, trying. It didn't echo. It didn't feel like wood. It felt like knocking on something hollow, but alive. Then I heard it. A sound from the other side. Not footsteps. Not breathing. A soft shifting noise, like something adjusting its position because it knew I was there. I stepped back. The door didn't move. But I had the sudden, horrible feeling that if I turned away, it would follow. I tried the handle. There wasn't one. Instead, my fingers pressed into the surface slightly. It gave way. I pulled my hand back fast. The door was warm. No whispers. You're finally alone. But sometimes, when I'm alone at night, not part of the apartment. Too narrow. Too dark. Too familiar. My heart sank before my mind caught up. I was not alone. I didn't walk toward it this time. I stayed perfectly still. The door didn't move. But the air around it shifted, like it was leaning forward, listening. Then the handle turned. Slowly.